Okay, today let's talk about profit first. I'm going to show you where you can find your Amazon reports and how to read them. If you want to follow me and doing this, the best way of doing this is like maybe have two screens like me. If not, maybe watch it on a tablet and do it at the same time on your Amazon sales account so you can follow me very easy. If you have any questions, make sure you pop a comment down below so I can answer your questions. Let's get started. All right, so I'm going to minimize myself here. Actually, here we go. So, if you're on your seller dashboard, then this is what you can see. You can see, obviously, like your whole overview. And if you scroll right at the bottom, I find this a bit easier to navigate. You can see the whole navigation. And the first thing you want to find out is obviously your payments. So if you want to find something that looks like this and actually see how much you're going to get paid, this would be your net proceeds, by the way. So in your net proceeds, the figure that would normally be here would be whatever you're going to get paid out or deducted from your account. So if this is negative for some reason, like let's say you're just starting out and you have to pay the seller's fee, and this would be minus and it would come out of your credit card. If you're already selling, then this is what you're going to get. And obviously, this is just a final figure. It starts with something that you maybe sold last month and it was already after the last payout, or it was in reserve level, which means Amazon keeps some around 30% generally aside before they pay you out, because they want to make sure if there's any returns, you don't get into negative, because it's always a hassle for them and for you. And then we obviously have your sales. So what have you been selling? And all the expenses will be here in the red zone, and everything you made will be in the blue zone. So we're going to check how to find these figures. So that's what I do with my students. We're going through these reports and trying to kind of find the data that Amazon displays you here very quickly, because this can be very confusing, I know. What you maybe don't know is that you can also find a proper sales summary report, which looks something like this. Can you see that? So that's pretty awesome. It will actually tell you exactly what you're going to get paid out. So up here, it will tell you all your income, all your expenses, all your taxes, and then the bottom figure will be whatever you're going to get into your account. If you don't know how to find this, stay tuned. I'm going to show you that. So in this report, it will show you exactly all initial incomes. I'm going to make another video just to explain all this. It will tell you exactly what you have been charged for, all your taxes, which is really important. And this is actually what goes into your account. So this is a bit different. Okay, so you can find this very, very easy. All of this information. I know that it can be quite challenging for most of my students. It is to get an understanding of these reports. It took me a while, but once you get used to it, you don't question as much. You're kind of like, okay, cool. Yes, I had a little mistake in my thoughts, and here we go. So the first thing I want to try to show you is how to get to your business reports. So that's one of the most important things down here. In your payouts, check your business report. I personally generally suggest do this every Friday. Go to your business reports, and then you will see a sales dashboard, which looks like this, right? So in your sales dashboard, make sure you always have the right date when you do this monthly or weekly or whatever you're going to do it. Make sure you always have all the data that you compare in the same date range. It can be very confusing and very frustrating if you don't compare the right data, right? Make sure you have if you have FBA and FBM, switch this here, and then you would see here how much have you sold in total. I personally like to go to my detail page, sales per child traffic. Why? You can see certain things which you can't see in your overview. So for example, you can actually see per SKU. So I removed a few ones here. You can see per SKU, what was your session percentage rate? How many page views did you have? You can see also, did you have the buy box the whole time? You can see here, the buy box for this particular SKU ASIN was only 96.4%, which is still pretty good. Why does it happen? You may have lost the buy box if you have a competitor there, somebody who's you sharing the listing with, or if a lot of people from overseas checking your listing and you're not eligible for exporting your product, or you haven't turned that on, then your buy box goes down. And you can see your unit session percentage rate, which I like to check all the time because that's your actual conversion. So how many people have been on your listing and how many of those bought. Amazon's average is around 10-12%. So if you're below that, you know that you have to work on your listing less than on your traffic. So you can see here exactly how many have you sold, how many orders, how many units, and this should obviously be in here, right? So your product charges, so this was just now per unit, but you can do this for all your units in that month. So let's say you sold 18 items in that month, then your product charges is 18 times whatever price. To make it simple, we're going to keep this also very simple. I'm just going to pretend we only have one item, we only have one sales price, and one fees and everything, just to keep it all a bit simpler. The next thing we want to check, because it's obviously a cost, right? So we know we got some product charges, we were able to sell a few items, and now we have the negatives. We have everything that comes out, which will be, for example, your advertising. I know a lot of people find advertising horrifying and think, oh, PPC is eating all my profits, but keep it real. Compare what comes out of here to what you really spend. I know I just had a chat with a student yesterday. They said, oh no, I've been charged $200 and I haven't even spent that. You can check that, and if it's not correct, you can explain to Amazon that this is not being correct. So again, to find your charges, you go simply down here to your advertising. If you go to your campaign manager, you can see your advertising cost, or here advertising reports. You can also see them in here. It would look something like this. Right. If you go to your advertising in your billings, you can see here how much have you paid. That's a cheap one, 80 cents. That's awesome. You can see how much have you been charged. So in September, that person was charged 80 cents. Is that correct? You can go into your own campaign reports and have a look. In your own campaigns, you can see, oh, cool, same. Obviously, that's August because we've been charged in September. You can see here for August, that person spent 73 cents. Great. Impressions were really low, obviously. You can also, again, break this down per SKU, per advertising, per everything, if you wanted to. 73 cents. So why is the invoice 80? If you go and check the actual invoice, right? If you check the actual invoice, then you can see, okay, average click was 18 cents, was only 4 clicks, 73 cents, and include taxes. So that would be sales tax, which you can charge back to your at the end of your accounting time. So that's all correct. Remember, keep here in mind, advertising costs, it would say here 80 cents, and you can just compare it with your actual invoice and your actual spend on advertising. Make sure you have the right data. You don't, like what I sometimes see when people do that, they go here and then they have some filter on here, like only show me the active ones, only show me the inactive ones. You obviously want to see everything, and you want to have the correct date range that matches your payout period. Then you will see if that's correct, and you can compare it with the invoice you received for that, right? Very, very important. Next thing you're gonna have been spending on was the FBA and the referral fees. So FBA and referral fees, if you go to your inventory, so if you actually go to your inventory on each of your products, it will tell you exactly how much you spent. So what I'll write down in my little Excel sheet that I prepared, very, very simple. This is how much I sold. This is my returns. I'm going to show you exactly how to find your returns in a second. You can see how much you made. You can see your referral fees. My referral fee here was $4.50, which is 15% of the $19.99. And the FBA fee is $3.64. We only sold 18 units, so we've been charged referral and FBA fees each also 18 times, which is my cost, right? $81 and $64. I've been charged storage fees. How do you find your storage fees? Again, simple here. Go to your fulfillment fees. And in your fulfillment fees, you can see actually a ton of reports, which most people never ever click on. You can see your fee previews. You can see your inventory or storage fees. You can see the monthly. You can see long-term storage fees if you have been charged long-term. So that's a bit nasty sometimes. So if you have any inventory in Amazon over 12 months, you get charged long-term storage fees, which can be super expensive. So we don't want to do that. You can check your reports. You can check replacements. You can see where is it, reimbursements. You can check those. You can say lots and lots outlet deals. You can say what I find really interesting when they have some deals with their customers for Prime Day, and everybody gets super cheap, and then it looks on your report as if you've paid for that, but then you got reimbursed for it at the same time. They have to, for accounting, everything they give to your customers on your order has to be put somewhere, right, in writing. So it's really important that you just go through these individual reports and understand that everything they give to your customers as a promotion, unless it's your own promotion, you will have been reimbursed for it at a later point. So if you check through here, customers, replacements, blah, 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 blah. So you find all these awesome information, find your storage fees, you find also your reimbursements. How do your reimbursements look like? So this is how a reimbursement report looks like. You say, you sometimes get an email, generally they come quarterly. I don't really receive them, don't have that many reimbursements. And then you see, when have you been reimbursed? You see the ID, you can see that in your payouts. So this would be something that in your payouts would actually be up here. It would be another stream, would say chargeback, promotional, whatever they call it. But here it shows you what happened, been damaged in the warehouse, probably fell off the forklift and somebody stepped on it, package damaged, and then they reimburse you for it. You can see, I do know that in this case, that this is the same product, and the amount the person's been reimbursed is different. The reimbursement price here, of cost, is based on your average sales price. So if you have a month of fully full sales price, like super reduced, and then your reimbursement here will also be lower than what is actually worth. That's why, in my opinion, it really does help to have a list price, because then you can always argue with the list price and just say, hey, look, I had a promotion, so please make sure you reimburse me based on my list price, which is the recommended retail price, right? You can see exactly what's happened to it, and here the reason, warehouse damage, that's generally that reason what happens. So that's things we get back. We also had some returns. What are we going to do with returns? How do we get to the return report? Same way. Oops. Here we go. You go to the fulfillment reports, and then you get to the return reports down here. Important return reports can be a real nightmare, because when you click on return reports, this is how it looks, and you think like, nothing is here. Over to the far right here, see that? View FBA returns. You have to click that. Once you've clicked that, you will see your FBA report. It will look like this. And they made it so much easier now. There were times when you would not be able to see anything. You had to download stuff and you had to type your ASIN in. But now you can see everything. Again, you can break this down per SKUs, per ASIN, orders, anything you want. You can find orders if you see like what happened, or you maybe can find customers, which is awesome. And then you can see what happened. You can see the customer reason. I know that people always say, there's no reason. Why can I not find the reason? So you see here, found a better price elsewhere. Okay, cool. You can see it's sellable. Obviously the customer just sent it back, and then somebody in the warehouse said, okay, this is easy. It's not broken. It's all perfect. It's sellable. Complete. Yes, return back to inventory. So in this case, you will get not the FBA fee back, but you get the referral fee back minus 20%. Amazon keeps 20% to put this one back in your inventory. Yeah, it's a bit nasty, I know. So keep in mind, we had the referral fee of $4.50. So you get $3.60 back for that. Then we had another two here. Item defect. We don't know. Some of this has been customer damaged. So they maybe opened the box and then broke something and then they just sent it back. Unfortunately, Amazon allows that. You can say it's not as unfulfillable, which means it goes into your unfulfillable inventory, and depending on your settings, Amazon will either dispose of it automatically or remove it and send it to you or to your designated warehouse, wherever you want it to be. And then you also have one that arrived defective. And this is quite important because here you want to find out how did it get defected, right? How did it break? Generally, if it didn't break in the warehouse, didn't break at the customer, then it would have broken somewhere on the way. So you want to keep track on this. So here, somewhere over here would say the order number. You want to find out what happened to this one. Because if Amazon broke it on the way, to have a fulfillment promise, you will get reimbursed for it. So you would have your order ID and you can compare this to your reimbursement report and check if it's been the same item or not. If it was the same item, you should have been reimbursed. All right. So this is 2 more things that we just found out. So we just got referral fee, we got returns. So I had 3 returns, which means I got the referral fee back for 3 times minus 20%. That's the $10.80 that I put in here. And of course, it's not really me making money, but it's in my report, it would look as if I had an income because it has been giving that money back from the actual charges, right? So we got that. The storage fees, very important. I just showed you how to get a storage fees. An easier way to get the storage fees is up here. Just by clicking onto your inventory storage performance, like where you go to inventory planning in your inventory manager, inventory planning, and then you can see here quickly, okay, cool. In July, that's just an example. Obviously, you do this per month. And if you do actually download your report, you can also see which item is costing you how much in fees and where are they actually. So certain items would be in which warehouse, how much does it cost? Especially in Europe, this is really important that you look into your report very thoroughly, because it will cost you more to send your product from Germany to somewhere in Germany than from Poland somewhere into Germany because of storage costs. So you want to look into that. So based on this, we just assume $4.52 where the cost, storage fee, we got that. We got ads. I'm just making this up because I know that some people, obviously it's not the 80 cent, but here you can see that's your ads. You know exactly how much you're going to have been charged for that because you have your invoice. If you have any damaged goods, then you would get reimbursement, but I'm just going to ignore for now. And then you see that this is my expense, right, for that 1 month. So my total that I actually made is $39.90 for that 1 month. And that's, again, just assuming I only have one product and they all cost the same. You can do this. What I do with my students intensely is we break this down for every single ASIN and then obviously in total per month, so they understand where their money is coming from, where is it going to, and why they have so and so much payout. This is generally not an issue if you get thousands and thousands of dollars payout every month. But for beginners who struggle a little bit and cash flow is not coming in and they're not making as many sales, or they feel like they should have way more payouts, then it's really important to actually go through this intensely. But if you, let's say, in the last month, you made $39.90, then you still have the monthly selling fees coming out, which is $39.99. And then your payout is actually $0. And actually probably a little bit less, depending on your stuff, because it's plus tax, right? And then you have $0 money that you made, which happens very often. And I want to keep this very realistic because I'm not one of these people who tell you that you, once you start selling, you're going to instantly start making a ton of money, because it's just not the case. Now from this $0, this is where all your cost of goods come in. And your office expenses, right? And then we end up with something minus bad. And this is where we have to work on. So the best way, that's what we're going to discuss in the next session, is obviously reduce ad spend, make sure you sell more, reduce returns. Returns are always bad because you actually lost money. You lost 20% here, right? Because because you just didn't get anything back. Because if you sell it again, these 3 items, right, then you still get charged the $4.50. So every return is costing you money. There are certain categories like electronics and clothing where you have so many returns. You want to calculate at least 5% returns already in your profitability. You can't really do much about the storage unless you change your packaging, same as the FBA fee. So packaging is a thing. But here, this is what we really can work on and obviously increase sales. So this goes together. So overall, we want to get this a good one. What I'm trying to say is there's all the reports in there, everything you need to find out to come up with these reports, sales reports, find your salary, find your summary, and find out what all these individual things are. Is not a hard process, but you need to look into it. The best way is to one day just sit down and go through all these individual things and see if you can find them in your report. Amazon is not making this up. This is all software based. They would get in the biggest trouble if this wouldn't be correct, right? So you want to make sure you just can understand it and follow the fees and follow the transaction. What is this? What does it actually mean? It's all explained. I'm going to make a video just about this summary. How do you get to the summary? And that's where most people really struggle. From your payments, from here. Oh, wait a second. Not here. From your payments. So from your payments, just to show you how to get to the summary. From your payments, you go to your reports, you go to your payments, and you see your payments report. And up here, it will say date range reports. When you are in your date range report, that's where you go there. And then you can see date range report, and it looks suddenly, it's like the old workflow, it looks a bit funny. And then you can choose if you want to see all transaction. All transaction means that gives you per month an Excel file and tells you exactly where did you sell, what did you sell, what was the fees, what was the tax, what was promotion, all these kind of things, referral fees, everything. And if you just go to the summary, then it comes up with the summary, which then will look like this. So this time I'm going to give you a little homework. What I would like you to do, I know it's going to be a bit tricky for some of you. If you need help, make sure you can touch. But I would like you to go through your report, through the initial report that you had, and try to find out where these figures come from. When it says this is what you've been selling, how much did you sell? Try to make just a little Excel sheet, just like this, and try to find out how many units did you sell, what was the price. Like I said, you can break this down either per ASIN or you can make it a total summary. Eventually, you do want to do this for ASIN because you find out a lot of things about your products, which ones cost you the most, which one makes you the most money, and stuff like that. You can actually create custom reports in here. So a lot of reports, when you are in them, will have a little button saying, make this one of my standard reports, and then it will be in here. But do this exercise 1 month, 2 months, maybe weekly for the first 2-3 months, just so you get a grip on the figures and see, okay, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense. Like I said before, most of the things make total sense. Amazon is not going to cheat you. The only thing you need to make sure is that you understand where you spend your money so you can control it. So maybe do this, and then if you have any questions, get back to me. Make sure you understand your margins, pricing, your advertising spend, and also